Hello and welcome to PondHub with Tim. In this video I'm showing you how I'm keeping my ponds ice ready for the winter.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice all.
It's just past the middle of December and as you can see I've had an early Christmas present for which I must thank Nikki from Butterfly Cottage Crafts on Instagram. She's our neighbour and she just dropped round with this and I'm very proud of it. Anyway, so I'm thinking about ice. The reason why ice is important in a wildlife pond, but in particular in a fish pond, is that if you have a sustained freeze over of the ice, it can be very dangerous to the animals living in your pond for two reasons. You get oxygen depletion, so they literally suffocate in the water, and then you get a buildup of harmful gases, carbon dioxide, ammonia and methane, and these can make the water poisonous. And left alone and left undealt with, what this can lead to is what's called a winter kill of amphibians. Frogs in particular are very vulnerable to winter kill, and you can have a mass die-off of the amphibians that are hibernating at the bottom of your pond. So in order to prevent this from happening, I'm taking steps now to prevent the surface of the ponds freezing over completely. To help prevent freezing, it's basically movement that you're wanting to get on the surface of the water. Now in our small ponds, I'm doing that by just adding a tennis ball. Pop that on the surface, it will move around, it will create ripples, it will help prevent the surface from freezing over. The other thing I'm doing in the small ponds, this is the little micro frog pond that we have in the jungle, is I'm making sure there's a very good supply of oxygenating weed in there. In the two larger ponds, that's the top and bottom pond here, I'm using an oxygenator. I'm using the Evolution Air Aqua Pump, which I've got installed here. It's got 4 stones, 4 air stones. I've got 2 leading into the bottom pond and 2 leading up into the top pond. And you can see what I've done here, because I don't necessarily want a great big blue plastic blob. I've surrounded it with some logs. I've got some sort of vegetation growing up around it, which creates another hibernation spot for my amphibians. So up here in the top pond you can see the oxygenator at work. What that will do is not only will it put oxygen into the water, but the movement of the water will stop the surface from freezing. So you can see here that this corner of the top pond, the surface is completely frozen. But if I just turn around here and show you where the aerator is working, you can see that the surface hasn't frozen at all. So there you are. You can protect your amphibians and fish if you have them with movement and oxygen. If that does fail and it does freeze over, don't just biff it with a hammer or break it with some other object, because the shock waves can be very harmful to your animals. I'll show you how to deal with that when it happens.
And remember, if it's chilly, get those balls out for ice.